Hey guys, Engineer Wannabe here, and today I'm really excited to finally bring to you the final review of the Grand Seiko SBGP015. Now this is one of their newer quartz pieces. It is also part of their 60th anniversary celebration pieces. I did hold off on getting my hands on it or purchasing it for quite a bit because of its price. Now this is quite a bit more expensive than their usual Grand Seiko quartz offerings, at least with the new 9F85 movement. The 9F85 movement is the movement where they introduce the jump hour feature into their regular quartz models. So while that is really handy to have, they've taken out the GMT function and also bumped up the price quite a bit. Now, that's not the only thing that's happened here. We also have a ceramic bezel, high polish ceramic blue bezel, which is not in any of the other variants of this same case shape. The other case shape being in the SBGV lineup. Those are very attractive as well, but they don't come in a bracelet. This one does come in this bracelet right here, which we will talk about in a bit. But they come in a Cordura style straps with a deployant and no bracelet, but they come with a steel bezel that's brushed and polished and is not as interesting as this ceramic bezeled version. They also do not have that 9F85 movement. Let's go ahead and review this piece. We have here a watch that is 40 millimeters in diameter. It is around 12.5 millimeters thick, and its lug to lug is around 46.5 millimeters. The lug width, of course, is 20 millimeters, which is really nice. This has a water resistance of 200 meters, so you could dive with it if you wanted to, but it is kind of substantial on the wrist. It's also very hefty. It's a hefty piece that makes you think that it is an automatic or a mechanical movement in there, but it's actually a quartz. Now, it's not just any quartz. It's of course the 9F quartz, which is known for being one of the most over-engineered quartz movements. This one is accurate to plus or minus 10 seconds a year, not a month, a year, which is incredibly impressive. It's thermally compensated. The quartz crystals are grown at Seiko in-house. They've been aged for 3 months by them having an electrical current being passed through them. So any variation over the years will be very negligible in timekeeping. It has a quartz trimmer to adjust the timekeeping, so all these very high scale features that you do not expect in a disposable quartz watch. This, of course, is not a disposable watch. It is meant to be handed down. It's meant to last for decades. And it also has a super sealed chamber, as Grand Seiko or Seiko calls it, where the actual components of the movement do not need to be serviced for 50 years. So all you have to do is change the battery every couple of years, change the seals every once in a while, and you are good to go for 50 years before service, before re-lubrication is needed. It also has this new Grand Seiko case. It's a beautiful case, very aggressive, very brutalistic case with sharp angles. You can see that there is a bevel that gets more exaggerated, and it's a chamfer, more of a chamfer than a bevel, because it is an angle. You can see the lugs, beautifully high polished, and it's all done by Zaratsu polishing, which means it's done by a Zolus machine, meaning it is done by hand. So it's manually accomplished, which is really impressive, and part of why Zaratsu polishing is really cool, knowing that there is an artisan who actually took care of this watch and did this polishing work. It was not done by machine, it was done by hand. And that is part of the romance of owning a Grand Seiko. If you take a look at the dial, it's a beautiful, vibrant navy blue, royal blue dial. It has a red seconds hand, and if you look a little closer, the hand stack is capped, which is really nice. I really enjoy seeing that. I mentioned that in previous videos as well. You've got lume on the hands and the markers. And the indices are all diamond polished, beautifully done, also done by hand. And this is a very beautiful, very minimal dial. There's not a lot on it, and it's very clean, which is what drew me to it. There is the SBGH variant, the SBGH, the high beat variant of the 60th anniversary models. However, it has red text at the bottom that really killed it for me. So I wasn't too fond of that, and this really was the best 60th anniversary edition at the time. There is now the really cool SLGH003 coming out. I'm really excited to take a look at that one. But that's a whole other story, and I do digress. Let's continue taking a look around this case. The sides are beautifully and masterfully brushed. It's very fine brushing. You can see the crown is countersunk into the case, so you don't need crown guards. It's a screw down crown. Very easy to unscrew. It's a very small crown, and rightfully so, since you don't really need to take it out for any reason other than we recently had daylight savings time switch over, so you'd have to unscrew it for that, and to advance the date one day when you have a 30 or shorter month. You can see that the case also has drilled lug holes, and that makes changing out of the bracelet very nice. So let's talk a bit about the bracelet. This bracelet is one of Grand Seiko's sporty bracelets. It looks really good on the watch, although it could have looked better. Now this is I think a bit of laziness on Grand Seiko's part. It's their Bob Standard brushed oyster style 3-link bracelet, and they could have put a bit more work to make it a bit more special to fit this watch. I don't think it matches the watch very well. The watch is very angular, while this entire bracelet is very bulbous and curvaceous, so there's a bit of a clash there. I do appreciate having the bracelet, and it does work, but it could have worked better. Grand Seiko or Seiko just released a watch called the Sharp Edge series, and the bracelet there has some angles. It is similar to this, but it has an angular link. And that said, the bracelet quality is absolutely excellent. You can see that there are bevels on the sides. They are sized by screws. So currently I have it on this strap with the Nomos deployant, and the reason is because the bracelet doesn't really match the watch too well. Again, it's a very minor detail, and I still really do appreciate having the bracelet, a bracelet that does fit. Unfortunately though, it does leave marks on the case as well. If you can see that, it does leave scratches on the watch head, and it is expected, but not to this extent, I don't think. That does not look pretty. So every once in a while when I catch a glance at that while it's on the strap, it does bug me a bit, and it is really disappointing. They could have done it a bit better there overall when it comes to the bracelet. So I'm a little saddened by that, but you gain quite a bit more here when it comes to that really nice blue ceramic bezel with that blue dial and that beautiful red seconds hand. The dial, of course, beautiful sunburst, sunray finish, immaculate in almost every way. The date wheel does not match the dial, unfortunately. It's a white date wheel, but I think the contrast is okay. It doesn't doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would. So all these things, you know, the added bracelet, the ceramic bezel, the new movement, and I didn't mention that this watch is also anti-magnetic, I believe to around 16,000 amps per meter. So it's an anti-magnetic watch, which explains the solid case back. I'm sure the dial and the case back acts as a Faraday cage over the movement, making it anti-magnetic. So let's go ahead and throw this on the wrist. Quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing the Grand Seiko SBGY015 on a Nomos, again, Nomos shell cordovan strap. I'm really liking the Nomos straps and deployants. But just to talk a bit about this watch, it is my favorite watch of all time. This would be the watch that would leave my collection last if I had to sell everything. Beautiful 9R31 movement, beautiful watch. But this is what we're here for here. So here it is on my 6 1/4 inch wrist, 16 centimeters in metric. It does wear pretty well. It's an aggressive and larger case. It's only 40 millimeters, but it does wear true to size, I'd say. I can't say it wears smaller than it is because it does wear quite big, but the lugs turn down really aggressively, and it on the bracelet especially, it does work pretty well on smaller wrists. But again, that is up to you. I'm not sure how comfortable you might be. Clearly, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I don't mind wearing a bigger watch. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know if you have any questions about this watch, the SBGP015. And I've owned it for a while. It is really accurate. I think it's lost 2 seconds since I purchased it. Let's see. I recently set this watch so I can say for sure. About 1 second. It's lost 1 second. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Take care. Stay safe out there. And I will see you in another video. Bye.